Take a land, the blizzard whispering pines, rocky coasts and floats, who are fighting, 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 let them in. With those of scouting teams as we follow on to greater fame. Nebraska, land of golden dreams, hiking trails and crystal mountain streams. Let's just scout, spirit bold and true. Now let us stand and take our road anew. On my honor, I will do my best to be bound to see that scouting spirit blesses everyone. No matter where they be, as we go on forgotten our country. Our country.
Good morning, Big Springs Camp.
It's
another beautiful day in the
Poconos.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Big Springs Life podcast. I hope you're all excited for a fun time today. If you noticed, we're trying out a new method with the good morning introduction. I don't know how it's going currently, but post-production, hopefully that went well. With us here this week, we have three very special guests. Back with us again for a second appearance, we have Anthony Glass.
Hey, everybody. How we doing?
I can just leave it at that. I guess you remember everything about Anthony Glass. That works.
I can talk a little bit more. I love talking. So if you don't remember from last week, I have been the civics director at Wesco Falls in the past. I've also run the OA program, and I've kind of worked in a bunch of different program areas in the past 4 years. And I teach law merit badge and cooking merit badge in our realm of virtual camp.
Excellent. With us here for his first appearance, we have the best Dan on camp staff, our Click Click Boom man and Pack Shipping Express, Dan Lyons.
Hello, good evening, good day, salutations to everybody out in the virtual world.
Yeah. Okay. What were you doing for virtual camp this summer?
I was part of the packing shipping crew, so for everybody that's listening or watching or doing whatever, I was the one packing up the boxes, sending them out, helping out with Steve and Chris and all of them in the packing shipping department.
Yeah. And we have, she escaped the pool and then went to the ropes. We have Melissa Sirken.
Hello, I am Melissa, and Andy is right. I started at camp in 2010 as a mere lifeguard, worked up to aquatics director, went to commissioner. It was meh. And then I went to COPE where I teach climbing. Yay.
But in this realm of virtual camp, what do you do? What do you teach?
Virtual camp, I am teaching art online as well as journalism. And because I teach art as my actual job, the teaching art part was very easy.
Yeah. So we got a fun group with us this week here on the podcast. And this week's topic, we're talking about the off season. So a bit different. It's not the season, but the off season. So what am I talking about when I say the off season? What's that kind of referring to? Anyone want to give their 2 cents on that topic? You can just speak up, like this isn't a classroom.
Well, like my overall definition of the off season in a camp setting is like when we're not having the 7 weeks of program or anything of that nature continuously going on. So it's not like Monday through Friday we're running merit badges.
So you would consider a team part of the off season?
Correct.
Okay. Melissa or Anthony, do you have any other takes?
I mean, I would consider the off season anything from the day we wrap up on the last day of camp for breakdown week, and then it would end on the first day of the Camp A team coming up to start working.
Okay.
I slightly disagree. The moment when I was working on A team, I'd be like, nothing else matters. I'm in camp mode now, and this is in season for camp season. So because you're away from camp, you're away from your family, you're away from your main job if you have a main job. So that way you're just focusing solely on camp.
Yeah. I can get behind that. But yeah, so for the bulk part, regardless of definition, we're really talking about the seasons other than summer, pretty much, like what goes on at camp during the fall, during the winter, and during the spring. Because, you know, during summer, we've got summer camp. So pretty much expect nothing to do with the summer camp operation in this episode. But all of us involved in this episode do get involved fairly often during the off season. Like, we love coming up to camp, so we try to find excuses to do so. So kind of with that, what are some reasons we might be coming up to camp in the off season?
Miss camp.
Did you just miss camp? Like,
We miss camp, we miss our friends, because keeping in mind, like, we have friends who actually live in East Stroudsburg where camp is. So, and the majority of us are from Philly or around the Philadelphia area. So we don't get to see those friends. So that's like a good time, like, hey, I'm going up to camp. And it's usually not just for us. It's usually us, like, helping out Nick, the ranger, on various projects. I'm definitely on every painting project possible, which people can agree with, but like, we're always there to help out, and then we're there for each other, because then we get to see our friends that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, certainly the big aspect is that volunteering. Dan, you go up quite often to help out and volunteer, don't you?
There's more times than I can count. Usually I'll try and get up there once a month, maybe even twice a month. Mainly to help out with the camp masters that are up there, but also helping out with Ranger Nick, and also the many council events, so like the field day and the various lodge weekends that happen at Resca, either once or twice a year, depending on the year for fall fellowship.
But Dan, what's a camp master?
So what a camp master is a volunteer that's kind of on the like, he helps the ranger out by checking in all the troops that come in Friday night, helping them with any of their needs during the weekend, and just checking them out, making sure that they like clean up after themselves, and clean up the cabin, so stuff like that.
Yeah. And one of the most prominent Camp Master weekends, at least for the staff, the senior staff always, well, not senior staff, but the older staff, the ones who've been there for a while, always look forward to is. Does anyone want to lead us into this one, if you know where I'm getting at with it?
Andy, are you talking about Campsgiving?
Oh, I am definitely talking about Campsgiving. It is a blast. But so, Anthony, what's Campsgiving?
So Campsgiving is a weekend. Usually it's the weekend before Thanksgiving in November, where a majority of the senior staff members who've been around for a while, area directors, people like that, past staff members who've still been coming around for a while, we all go up to camp. We have a big Thanksgiving dinner where we get to see each other. Once that, it's pretty much like, depending on who you are, sometimes you haven't been up to camp since camp closed for the summer. So it's kind of a chance for you to come up, have some fun, have some good food, be able to see your friends, and get a lot of work done around camp as well.
Yeah, because we do volunteer in the morning at least, and this can do a couple of things. The weird thing with this weekend, though, is it's odd because it feels like it's for the staff, like we're all there having a fun time, but there's still campers there. So we gotta be very careful. But always, inevitably, every year it seems like it's Melissa and I get paired up to go take a troop on a tour of the camp.
Oh, tours!
I don't know why. I don't know why it's always us, but it's kind of interesting. I don't know.
Hey, if that means I don't have to do a painting project and we can give a tour, I'm okay with it.
I mean, what were we doing last Campsgiving? It was demoing the basement of the Camp Master cabin.
I did that.
One group. I was with you. I was with you in Birkbeck. I didn't do much, but I was there.
No, because I just went full ham.
Yeah, you did just go full ham. Um,
I was on cooking for a little bit.
yeah, you were on cooking. I got to just chill in the cabin with all the old people. That was fun. What were you doing, Anthony?
Me, Trexler, and Nick Koff made trail signs in the shop.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. You did
Yeah,
that.
so some people do hard physical labor, like demoing a basement, and other people get to play with trail signs all day. But
And because we're feeding so many people, we're always having a cooking crew. So
Yeah.
like I'll usually be helping out with that. The main person in front, who's in charge is usually Steve Mock. He's the one who's always like, here's this. Can you chop this? We need this. And he's always on point with his cooking, and the food's so good.
yeah, we end up using the Campmaster cabin kitchen, which is a lot smaller. It would be great if we could use like the kitchen or Unami, but the dining hall doesn't have water this time of the year, and Unami is usually rented out to a troop. So kind of gotta make do with what we got. But I think Steve's also like he's always been the one kind of like organizing it and like setting this thing up. So it's kind of like his baby, I guess you could say.
His shindig.
Invitation, you'll get it from Steve normally.
He starts the Facebook group chat, yeah. And then always great, always a fun time. And like it's kind of like our big like camping trip, I guess you could say. We just go and have fun. Like I know I joked about hard physical labor, but it's a blast. It's a lot of just having fun with your pals.
No,
so
most years it's like we're done the project by like 3 and everybody goes and takes a nap.
Takes a nap, takes a shower.
Or
ready for dinner.
Yeah.
I think we were playing Charlie Brown Thanksgiving in where we were eating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's the other
football
thing.
Game. We were watching a football
there
game
was
too.
Penn State game was on
Penn
too.
State.
That's the other thing. For anyone who's been into the White House, that check-in center where that pool table is, that's where we eat. And we crammed like almost 30 people in there last year.
Yep.
Put a tarp on top of the pool table so that way we can put all the food on that table, and that's like where everyone's going to be, taking all their food, and then we have just like folding tables, and we'll just set those up. There's random pieces of furniture, so you might be sitting in a couch or you might be sitting in a folding chair, but it's all good fun because you're with friends and family.
Yeah, it's always a blast. And sometimes some things there's too much food of, other things there's not enough of. Like this year, was it turkey they kind of underdid, I think? Because I think, Dan, when you got up there was like nothing left.
Yeah, because I'm usually the last guy that either gets there or I'm the last person to eat.
Yeah, because you push yourself too much. You gotta like learn to leave. I know I'm sounding like Michaela right now, but like you got. All right, I think that's enough on Campsgiving. Because note to self. I'm gonna write this down. Campsgiving special. That's gonna be a thing. That's gonna happen. But Anthony, you can talk a lot about this one. So the OA weekends at camp. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So OA weekends happen depending on the year. Twice a year, sometimes only once a year. We always have an OA weekend in May. That's our spring Unami Lodge one. So there's spring service 2 weekend at Rustica Falls every year, and every other year we do the fall fellowship weekend in October at Rustica. So sometimes a bunch of staff members are going to come up. They're going to be working with the other general members who come up to do cheerful service for our camp. So a lot of staff members are going to come up and they'll work with everybody and get to enjoy everything we normally do on an OA weekend. So that's normally service, some fellowship, eat, and just kind of hang out with each other. So it's always a lot of fun when staff can be up there for OA weekends too.
I remember last time I went up to one, people tried to bribe me to vote for them with candy. I don't know why I can't vote. happens. It's how it is.
People just think you're younger than you are, Andy.
I don't believe that. I think they just got into the habit of asking everyone, just going up to everyone, be like, "Hey, have a Milky Way, vote for me." That
You get in the groove of just saying it, and
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's also fun. I think all of us have been to at least one OA weekend at camp. Yeah, at least I think I've been to the least out of all of us, which is interesting. How many have I been to? I've been to 2, I think.
Well, depending on the year or depending on theme, because usually there's always a theme that comes with an OA weekend, and whoever is in charge of program. We've had inflatables, so many different inflatables that are going to be on the parade field, where either it's an obstacle course, or have we had anything else besides the obstacle course? I know we had that a couple.
We've had a moon.
We've had obstacle courses, moon bounces. We've had the blow up. It's like you just kind of hit people with this.
Oh, the cotton
like
swabs?
Yeah, with the cotton swabs. We've had that before. It's mainly obstacle courses though. That's what we normally have.
Yeah, that's
blow ups at least.
Yeah, that's the blow ups. Like special events. Like during an OA weekend, like we've done a Hawaiian cookout. That was what 2017,
2017, I think it was. I think it was either 2017 or 2018.
That was during the weekend. That was a really long day too.
Yeah.
And then the many multitude of conclaves we've had in the past, I don't know how many years, 2018, 2015, and 2009.
We did a Jeopardy themed weekend one time, or a Family Feud weekend. I mean, wasn't Jeopardy, Family Feud. So we had chapters compete against each other. And then I was the game show host. That was fun. But we've had different things like that. So they're always really fun being able to go up and not be with your friends.
Yeah.
And get work done as well.
Yeah. Since we get a lot more people, but there's a lot larger of an age range, the work there can vary. Like there is going to be stuff on the scale of demoing stuff and chainsawing, but what's like the bulk of the kids doing? Bulk of the members?
Trail clearing as usual. That's normally a lot of younger kids are going to be doing trail clearing. Yeah. Dan can speak more to that.
Yeah. So a lot of staff members on the Rustic Falls camp staff also hold positions within the LEC of Unami Lodge. So both youth and adult. So like, for example, Melissa is the camp promotions advisor. And Anthony is the membership chairman, and I'm one of the service advisors. So I'm actually talking to the ranger and talking to all the adults. So usually it's my phone call that gets Melissa on a painty project.
There's a good
or Stainy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
There was one time where me, Andy, Sean, Michaela, who else was with us?
Chris Smith. I think it was just Chris Smith. It was the 5 of us.
And it was so cold that day, and me and Andy had to get to the top part. So we climbed on top of the roof, and I just laid there because it was warm, because like the heat was trapped on the metal part of the roof. But that's when we were staining
archery.
Yeah, the archery building, or the archery shed.
Yeah, the newer archery pavilion.
Yeah. There we go. That's the word.
So I coordinate with both the rangers that live on the property and with the many adults, and try and coordinate what projects, what all their skill level is. So stuff like that. So a lot of it is trail maintenance, a lot of chainsawing, because during the off season there's no green canvas up, so we can get these what we call widow makers, so really like high, like kind of dead trees that kind of lean over very high trafficked areas in the campsite. So we try and get those out of the way while there's not really a lot of people in camp, and that also can entail away from the OA weekend, just normal camp service projects.
Yeah, it's always interesting time, and there's a lot of overlap too between the staff that go to the OA weekend and camp staff. So it feels like a second reunion as well. I feel like because
Especially that like the leadership of the LEC, a handful of them are all on camp staff and have been there for over 5 years. Just thinking of our chief right now, Luke.
Yeah, between Luke Syack and then the Pat and Liam Lynch and Riley as the secretary.
Riley, Owen,
There's so
all the
many.
officers. All the officers.
Yeah, all the officers have
members
at
of
least.
West Falls camp staff.
yeah, let's look here. Yeah, Luke, the Lynches, Owen, Riley. Yeah, and even like a lot of the advisors too. Like Jerry's on that list.
Yeah, Jerry is
an associate lodge advisor.
Interesting. Did not know that. But yeah, it's a lot of people. A lot people get involved, and even then, like I think when I showed up, got into the dining hall where people were having Cracker Barrel, and a ton of people were like surprised to see me there, and they were staff. Because granted, I kind of registered day of and showed up, so.
You would also drive from college.
I did also drive from college, yeah, because I was supposed to go to Canada that weekend, and then my friends bailed on me, so I was like, all right, camp it is.
Andy,
But,
what's that drive for you?
What?
How many hours
Oh,
is that in Vermont?
for context, I went to school in Vermont, Burlington specifically, and so Burlington to camp is about 6 hours. It's a very far drive. Yeah, it was interesting. All right. So I just drove down after my internship, drove back up on Sunday. It was fun. Anthony is frozen. Oh no.
Oh, well, he'll come back.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, there he is.
No.
Is he back? Yeah, he is back. Hello, welcome back. But it's not that bad. You like put on a podcast and then you just drive.
So Andy's actually telling all of you now that he listens to his own podcast while he drives.
I don't listen to my own podcast. When that was the thing, there was only one episode of the podcast.
Right.
And I listened to like Magic podcasts and like D&D stuff, very nerdy ones. The Dollop's the good one. Anyway, I'm not going to cross promote anyone. They're not giving me any cross promotion themselves. Back on topic. We've gone too derailed. So yeah. So let's see. There was going up for volunteer weekends. There's Campsgiving. There's the OA weekends. Is there anything camp related we kind of do? Like I'm trying to think of things myself. Is there anything camp related we do that isn't at camp in the off season?
Besides planning for the overall camp summer?
I mean, yeah, we'll dive into that a little bit later, but
Hanging out, you know.
yeah,
We
just
have a
hanging
family.
out.
We made a family at camp so that you go to visit them. Well, I say that like we are actually sometimes really bad at that. All of us, we do live in Philly. We don't make the time to hang out with each other. But you know, the moment says, "Hey, I'm going to camp," everyone's like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to see you," even though we potentially are only 45 minutes away from each other. I'm like 10 minutes away from Anthony, and I don't see him that much.
We always see each other when we're at camp.
Yeah, there are staff members that like 10 minutes from where I live. Granted, a couple of times they've been getting together and then they send me a message halfway through the thing and I can't make it because it's got the late notice, but you know, it is what it is. So we try to meet up with people. Right. The winter party, the holiday.
The holiday get together at the council office.
Holiday Christmas party.
Well, that one we don't call the Christmas party because that's
No, sorry, holiday.
Holiday get together.
Neutral term.
yeah, that one we have to be neutral with. That's that council, and it's not a staff party. But yeah, it's a party, I guess. But anyone want to talk about the holiday reunion thing?
Sure, I'll take it. So the holiday reunion that we have every year happens between it's pretty much the last weekend of December. We all drive up to the council office and we have a big reunion. We all get to see each other. Both the Resca and Muster staffs are in the same room, so we all get to interact with each other. And there's always really good food. Last year was past couple years has been Chickies and Pete's. So that's always been really good. So it's really just another opportunity for us to get to see each other and see the people who really maybe aren't coming up to camp as much as we are, people who aren't really involved in the OA. So it gives everybody a chance to kind of be together for one night out of the year after camp is over.
Yeah. The funny thing, because I'm glad you mentioned the muster staff also comes up, because what inevitably ends up happening is it's kind of like in the like in those the high school movies where like the cliques kind of separate and they all just kind of like do their own thing. Like you can walk into the room and you could draw a line, and on one side is all the mussies and on the other side is all the Resco staff. And we do refer to them as, do they refer to themselves as mussies, or is that just like,
yes.
They do not.
They do not? Do they have,
No.
do they refer to,
For working, I should say volunteering at the Cub event down at Musser in October and sometimes into November, they do not call themselves that.
do they like refer to us as like Ressies or something?
I
Okay.
don't think so. That's
No.
too hard to say.
I don't know. I just want to, we just refer to them as the mussies. But you can see like there's not a lot of co-mingling there.
Unless like I know with Anthony and Melissa that have showed up for Fall Fest and like have worked with the Musser staff. So like you kind of have some overlap, but yeah, a good chunk of the staff is kind of split.
Yeah, we get food, we hang out. There's usually people who organize something before or afterwards. I went with some people to dinner beforehand. So that was pretty fun. It's just a chill time. We're all talking. Usually around that time, we'll get announcements. Like they'll announce.
Chuck, Ben, Chetler.
Yeah, they'll announce that. Usually by that point, I think they've announced the theme for the summer camp. But if they haven't, usually then they'll reiterate who's like admin leadership, I think. They also
program director, who's the assistant program director.
Yeah, just
they might also say like with the theme, make sure you're applying. They're really pushing for a lot of people, like make sure you apply, put in your application. If you know anyone who, I think of aquatics first, not because I was on aquatics, but like if you know anyone who's on aquatics, please make them apply. I know lifeguards are always on a shorthand. We're always shorthanded. We're always looking for lifeguards. Just putting that out there to anyone listen to this podcast.
Yeah. They usually do also hire. Well, not hire, but they'll
discuss contracts.
Yeah, they'll like interview. For those listening, well, everyone who's watching or listening to this, you can't see the video. Imagine I'm doing air quotes next to this. They'll interview some of the returning directors, and the reason I kind of put in that is because it's mostly just a hey. It's a check-in. Yeah, it's like, hey, you planning on returning? You're looking at same position, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. They won't have
the contract right in front of you, but they definitely will talk about like, do you want to go here? And you can discuss with them like, no, I didn't actually like being in that position. Can I go here instead? And they'll talk it out with you.
Yeah, and
they'll do it more. Then they'll do it more for like people that don't like really live within the council. So like for context, I live in the state of New Jersey, and when I was much younger, it was a lot harder for me to get to the council office because I was under 18 and I didn't have my license, or if I did have my license, I wasn't allowed out of the state. So like that opportunity of having that talk was really helpful. So, like for me, I've only gone to the council office for an interview once, and that was in 2014.
Yeah. Or for me, if it wasn't the case with the whole APD thing, I kind of get told in my position, usually by like end of the summer, the start of the off season, I'll get word. But if that wasn't the case, I'd probably be doing the interview then, because Vermont, it's not 6 hours to Philly, it's 8 hours to Philly, so it happens.
On your like seniority and how long you've been at camp, there's a good chance that you just kind of stop getting interviews. I can't remember the last time I've been to an interview. I usually I'll get a call from the program director or Steve or Chris saying like, hey, you coming back this year? This is where we want you. So there's like, you kind of skip over the interview process because you've been there so for so long, they know who you are.
That's usually how that phone call goes, exactly word for word.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't even apply; they just get a call, but then they do have to put in an application for like legal purposes.
We want you here, but where's your application? So I'm getting the job even before I apply, but you still have to send it in.
I know Steve says he does it, but I think I should start doing it too, which is when you put in the application, just start putting in like wild places for the want to work. Like, I should go back to my roots. I should put down Tidy Bowl for all three when I apply again.
Well, to be fair, when I was on aquatics and I was like heavily secured in aquatics, like a couple of years, I was like, can I go to Cope? No. I just start writing things to see if they'd move me, and they didn't.
Yeah. Good old Tidy. Yeah, for context-based, Tidy Bowl is what we refer to people in the janitorial positions as. So the people who clean the like the shower house and the shower houses and the White House bathrooms. It's the unofficial title is Tidy Bowl, of which I was the first.
Jandy.
That's my Jandy. That's my claim to fame. I was the original. Yeah, fun facts. It was a job, but yeah. So that's actually kind of a nice segue. So yeah, the other big half of the thing, like we talked a lot about, kind of keeping in touch with friends during the off season, going up to camp, helping out our ranger, who try and get on here someday. Helping out camp, making sure things are going well up there. The other thing is prepping for the next summer, because we don't start planning in April. We like start planning pretty much September. I don't have any of you been involved heavily in the planning process before? No? All right, let's do this. What do you think goes into the planning in like the super early phases of the off season? Let's get some people's impression.
Probably nailing down key leadership positions. So like your higher senior staff, your especially for those positions of camp school. So like when I was the shooting sports director, I got a call late September, early October, because it's a camp school certification. So they have to plan ahead and work out a schedule that's best for me, so I can go to camp school.
Yeah. Context. What's camp school?
So camp school is nationals kind of school for camp positions. So they'll have different schools spread across the area. There's in the Northeast, there's about 4 every year. One during the winter, and then like 3 that are spread out between like the Mid-Atlantic, upstate New York, and New England. So they have very different positions. I've gone to camp school for shooting sports, and Melissa's gone for aquatics and cope.
And I think the fun part about it is like at least for my troop, like we're definitely very dedicated to going to Resica. So I haven't really seen other camps. And besides, when we have conclave and we're going to other sections, that's another way I can see other camps. But for the most part, I haven't seen other camps. So I love going to camp school because you get to see other camps and really explore a whole new place you haven't been to. And if you can afford it, you can go almost anywhere in the country. There are places in California. You could go to Hawaii. You could go to Florida. Like there's so many different places you could go to camp school, especially if you can afford it. But the majority of us, our council won't pay for you to go to California. So you got to drive. But you know, it's an option if you wanted to spend the money.
Would they have paid if you drove? Or
California, I doubt it. But then
okay.
like if I knew I was allowed to, I probably would have went. Like, let's go to California for a week.
They just wouldn't cover travel for that, right? They would have just.
I don't even know if they covered my travel, to be honest. I don't think they did.
Oh.
But
Noted for if I ever have to go to camp school. But yeah,
every
so
school is like different, but I won't unless you. That could be a different podcast. What is camp school? And dive into that if you want.
that's not very Resca specific.
The different certifications needed for camp.
They're just like there's so much that goes into the different camp schools. It's so hard to talk about all of them, especially like Dan's experience. My cope and aquatics experience was so different. That's why there's so much to talk about.
And me and Anthony just sitting here, single tear welling up in the corner of our eye, just rolling down.
Never been to camp school. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so that's definitely the first thing we really want to do is we want to nail down the senior positions. So as I said, we usually know like program director, assistant program director, ideally by the end of the summer, like in 2018, when they told me that's going to be the APD at 19, they told me like week 7, I think. And then after that, we want to nail down commissioners, and then the directors. We usually ideally, we want to know who our directors are going to be by the new year. So we can go into the new year hiring the rest of the positions. Anything else? Anything else you think goes into our planning in the off season?
Sorry, Melissa.
No, I talk a lot. Go ahead.
No, so it's probably going through the hundreds of applications we get through that we put or that people fill out, and starting the interview process. There's 2 days, one on Martin Luther King Day and one on President's Day.
Yeah. So that way, you know, all the school kids are off.
Well, that and also most of our upper admin are time teachers, and those are really the only days they can get off without burning a day, like a personal day or a sick day or something like that.
Yeah.
I was going to say that it usually includes Chinese food, meeting at Chris's house, huddled around a circle and talking, right? I definitely have seen pictures of that.
Yeah, so I've also received those pictures too.
I'm not sure if it's every time, but you know, like at some point, I feel like normally you get to Chris's house and like you'll start planning for the year, talking about how you're going to implement the new theme, how like what are some things that you definitely want for program.
Yeah, that's a bit. Both times I've been actually physically into his house, it was pizza or like cheesesteaks. I've never been there for Chinese, so that's not one Chinese. But yeah, it's certainly, if we haven't decided on the theme, we need to pick a theme, and then any of the really big things around that kind of needs to be worked out earlier as opposed to later. Like as mentioned in our theme episode and program, the camp-wide games this year was going to be wildly revamped, and that had to be planned out early because we need to get the program guide, the program and leaders guide out and ready So that way any troops that are looking to come to Reska can see what we're offering this summer, see what we're doing, ideally before the early bird stuff ends. So that way they get the ideal amount of time to look it over and decide if they want to come to our camp. And and then it's fleshing it out, assigning parts. It seems like it'd be a lot more exciting, the whole off-season planning for admin, but it's kind of not. It's kind of just spitballing ideas back and forth and being like, this is an idea. It's like, this is an idea. But if there's one takeaway, one key thing that you feel is consistent for most staff across the off season every year, what do you think that would be? I know it's kind of a poorly phrased question, but like if there's one common thought everyone's having, what would it be?
When's the next time I can come back to camp?
Yeah, that's kind of the question I was trying to like lead us into. I think everyone during the off season is looking forward to when they can come back next. So I know I am. This whole time I just want to be in camp. I just want to not be at home. I'm sure you all feel the same.
Agreed.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a thing. Well, do you all have any closing comments, notes, things you wish to share? No? All right. Well, thank you all for listening to our episode on the off season. I hope you enjoyed the insights into camp. As always, a couple promotions. You can no longer sign up for virtual camp. Unfortunately, you've missed the deadline on that. But if you're interested, I believe signups for 2021 have gone live. So you can sign up, reserve your spot for, hopefully, fingers crossed, physical camp next summer. If you want to join our family, one of us, can keep an eye out for staff applications. But yeah, that's all I got. Look forward to next week. Same time, same place will be our, I think that's going to be the season finale episode because our summer will have ended. So season finale next week. But beyond that, thank you all so much for listening. Hope you had a blast. And stay safe. Enjoy your summer. 2, 3. Oh, I don't want no more of Big Springs life. Hey, G-Mom, I want to go, but they won't let me go. G-Mom, I want to go home.
Oh, the ethos at Big Springs, they say we're pretty fly, but we can't find a single tree that we can identify.
Oh, I don't want no more of Big Springs life. Hey, G-Mom, I want to go, but they won't let me go. G-Mom, I want to go home.
Well, it's not that Big Springs, we're using the fire.
Go, but they won't let me go.